Yo, what up, people? Mic check, mic check. It's your girl, Shalene, a.k.a. Shy Money, your roving reporter, and I'm here with this guy.
Jam C in the building. You know how I do. I'm going vocal.
Okay. Yo, we shouting out our brother Lou, who's still recovering from getting boosted. Shout out to Big Lou Bim. We hope you're feeling better, brother. We missing you because this guy's driving me freaking crazy.
Lou's one of the biggest scam artists, so he probably not even.
Lou, let me find out you out here on a date, bro.
Exactly.
And you don't bring us back a doggy bag. We're going to find out. We're going to GPS your location.
Because his last known whereabouts, I think, was Atlanta. That's the last known whereabouts.
He's home away from home. Let me find out, somebody down there, Sharif or somebody giving a party, and he skipped out. He jumped the flag.
Exactly.
Yo, but you're definitely missed. Your presence is missed. We shouting you out. We can't wait till you're back in the fold. But to our Goin vocal listeners, today we want to talk about something very informative. You know, we always try to weave a little real life and humor in there, but this something right here that got me scared as fuck. And you know, I'm from the bricks. I don't get too scared. This right here got me a little nervous. Got the girl a little bit nervous.
Yeah.
You know, we talking about scamming. This new generation of scam artists. These are not your old school snatch and grab from the 80s and the 90s. These are way before. We used to call it the craft, but it has elevated to a new level. So we want to make sure our listeners are informed and can protect their assets and protect themselves and your personal information.
Yes.
So we've seen a few things, and we've been doing a little bit of research, and so we want to share what we're learning and some of the things that we're doing to protect ourselves as well. I mean, you can't, unfortunately, 100% protect yourself, but you can do things to ensure that what you've worked so hard for doesn't get taken by people who don't deserve it.
Yeah.
So, Jam, what you want to say?
Listen, it's no foolproof way to protect yourself. You know, the best, as little information as you can share with people, because I get a lot of, since COVID, I've been getting a lot of these phone calls from people telling me I owe a student loan But they don't tell you, you know, I'm this type of person. I play with you. I'll say, okay, you know, let's talk about what we owe. Then I get to the meat of it. Like, who are you calling for? Like, give me the person's name. Because they ask you for your information. Don't ever forward your information without finding out who are they exactly calling for. Because they say, hey, this is the number we had and it says you owe. Okay, who owes? Well, this is the number we called. Well, who owns the number that you called? Name the person that you're calling for. Listen, sir, we're just trying to get to the bottom of the click. I send them straight to Tone. So my thing is, and that's with car warranties. All these people call, or you could get.
Can we talk about them for a minute? They are the biggest offenders. These car warranty people, yo. They are relentless. I've been blocking that number for 2 years, and they just call back from another number.
It's not just them. It's the car warranty people. Then it's also your credit card. You're eligible to get 50% off your credit card. Just dial 1 now. But they never tell you who they calling for. They want to get your social, your information, and they take it and run with it. I've been getting it in emails.
Yep. Be careful with the emails.
Even with Apple, like if they send you this Apple telling you win an iPhone, make sure if you hit that email address, it'll tell you it's not Apple. It'll tell you Jason Scaglioli 156769 porno star, and it ain't even Apple. You know what I'm saying? So
what kind of emails you getting?
No, listen. It's crazy. So you accept it, and then you end up giving them all your information.
Oh, yeah. We're going to talk about that. So listen, this is no longer, for those of you that might be in our age bracket, this is no longer the smash and grab. They're getting your credit card information out of the trash. They don't do that anymore. That is old school. These people are very intelligent. They are very savvy, and they're very crafty, because that's what we used to call it back in the day. Mm-hmm. They're very crafty about how they approach this. They are using technology. They're using their phones. They're using their laptops, their iPads. They have a whole network set up to get and obtain our information. And this is why I'm afraid of it, because you do not know when they have your information. And by the time you figure it out, they've cleared out all your money. And it is difficult for the consumer to try to reclaim their assets or prove that they weren't the ones that did it. So some of what we've been seeing A lot of information I picked up on the internet and different from the FTC. If you don't know what the FTC is, the Federal Trade Commission. There was a very popular story, Jamil, about this scammer called Hush Puppy. He's one of the most widely known. Hush Puppy. And
food in the shoe.
Food in the shoe. And he's getting ready to face up to 20 years in jail.
Rightfully
because he has been running these global, not just in the US, global scams. Hundreds of millions of dollars he's defrauded people for. And so he's waiting to be sentenced right now. Nigeria is another place that is unfortunately very well known for scamming and obtaining information from people from not only the U.S., but Russia, Germany.
Not to cut you off, baby girl, but you know what's the biggest scam?
What?
Remember back in the day we used to go to Canal Street?
What about it?
And get the leather bombers or the Gucci jack, the Gucci frames. Those is like the biggest scams. So legal. I mean, I guess you could say legal scams because they was doing it every day and nobody was going to jail.
Yeah, I mean, it was all...
Gazelles and then gazelles, because you couldn't afford gazelles, you got the gazelles.
Yeah, some of us couldn't afford that. I was one of those. And I mean, these scammers are just creating networks of people. So they're working with a team of people. So some of what I saw recently, I mean, these people are in just pockets right in your neighborhood. So the show, I actually watched Black Market with rest in peace to the brother Michael K. Williams, which was very informative.
R.I.P.
But one of the things I didn't realize they were doing, they were using this cryptocurrency, this Bitcoins. And apparently they put these Bitcoin machines in a lot of areas, a lot of underserved areas, and people are utilizing that to transfer the funds because it's not as traceable as going in with an actual card.
Yes.
But one of the main things these scammers will do, as Jam alluded to before, is they make outreach to you. They'll call you. They can look up a lot of these, they look on the dark web, they utilize the dark web, and they can find out that Jonathan has a Chase account. So now they'll call you and they'll say, "Hi, this is Mary calling from Chase, the fraud department." So if you says it's the fraud department, you're probably less inclined to think it is actually fraud if they're saying they're calling from your bank, which you recognize as your bank. And they will ask you some leading questions to ask you to attempt like they're authenticating your identity. But what they're really doing is jotting down your information. And then what they do is they thank you. They're very polite. They're very skilled. They take the information that you have provided them with and they create a whole new digital profile for you online. And they go on the dark web and they sell your profile. And then the next person gets it. And now they have enough of your information to create a whole new profile for you. And if you are hardworking and you have a decent credit score, it's easy for them to open up other credit cards in your name. One of the other things they will do, and that's what you were speaking to, is about they create a mass email blast, and they'll make it seem like it comes from a bank. And it'll have a link in it that says, click here to access your profile. So when you click that link and you put your username and your credentials, they grab it. And if they send it out like it's an email from Chase, now they know these are your credentials to Chase. They'll go in there and they will use your credentials because they've grabbed them. They have an algorithm that will grab it and then apply it to your real Chase profile. And now they extract all your funds out. And they'll take all your funds out and put it on a credit card, like a prepaid credit card that you see like on the kiosk in Walmart, Target, your local grocery store. They'll take that card and transfer all the money onto that card, and that's untraceable because it's just a generic prepaid card, and they go right to the ATM or somewhere and swipe it and buy what they need or take all the cash off. So you got to be real careful when you are answering those calls. And I know I have a mother and a parent that's not technically savvy, so I want to put a call to action. Please make sure you are teaching your elderly, middle-aged family members about these scams because they have worked so hard and they may not be aware that these people are scams, and they might get frightened when somebody's calling them saying, "Hey, we think your bank account's been compromised." They're going to start giving out their information, and they really providing these scammers with enough intelligence that they can now go in and really take money from their accounts. It's scary.
Here's one of the things you do, because I actually, to add what you're saying, is that actually happened to me about a year ago. What you have to do in a situation like that, you have to ask a lot of questions. You got to ask a lot of important questions. You even got to get around that person, get their name, which we know is to be false. You get any information, but if you're going to give them any information, give them false information. That's how you know if it's accurate or not, if it is your bank. Give them false information and see what they say. Because I actually gave false information. Everything was false. Down to the name. Everything was false. Because they couldn't tell me who they were calling. And it was a bank. It was supposed to be for my bank. It was a alleged fraud alert, which I know because I got special access on my bank and I know my banker. So you gotta get
$10 saved.
That's right. That's right.
That's
right.
Two fives. Around with it.
Two fives. So you gotta really ask a lot of important questions. Even get around to asking about the supervisor. Ask them where the branch they at. Tell them you're willing to go in and deal with this inside the branch. But you can't
watch how fast they hang up.
Exactly. That's you now in today's climate. You definitely have to be aware of all these things going on because we can't afford to lose. Yeah. We cannot afford to lose. And we're being taken advantage of, especially in COVID, because everybody's shopping from home.
Yeah, and that really, COVID has made it much easier for them to do
Absolutely.
it because they're getting you at home. Most people are still quarantined
Absolutely.
at home. And now we've moved to with the COVID impact, a lot of stuff has increased to be touchless.
Listen, my landscaper was a scam artist.
Damn.
That's a whole nother situation.
Oh, wow.
He was a scam artist.
Listen, so we've gotten accustomed to doing everything in a touchless manner right now. So for somebody to call you, it's not completely foreign because we know people are all working remote, right?
Exactly.
So we've now gotten accustomed to that, so it doesn't seem so foreign. So you got to be on your P's and Q's, and if for any reason you think this is not a legitimate call, tell them, you know what, I'm going to call my bank directly.
Exactly. Or I'm going to go in the branch directly.
Yeah. Tell them I'm going to call my bank or I'm going to go into the branch and disconnect the call. You got to be careful. And what they try to do is another thing I've learned. They try to call you at odd times. Like they'll call you right like on your way home from work. And you're rushing and you're not thinking. You might be in, commuting or something like that. They have all these tactics and strategies on how to connect with you and to get your information. One of the other things they will do is they'll create that false email and send it out. And they send that to tens of thousands of people with the hope that they'll get one or two who will click on the link to access that account. And then gotcha.
But you know the crazy thing? It says here, scam artists lurking on dating apps.
Oh, I could believe that. I saw something on IG with a girl. I want to say she was from Baltimore. I don't want to say the guy was a scammer, but it's along the lines of scamming. I mean, he didn't steal her identity or something, but he had her travel to Baltimore, where she was originally from, supposedly to go on a date with him. They had talked about a transfer of something. She brought that something with her. He went to the mall. He was supposed to be holding it to keep it safe for her. And he said he was going to the bathroom.
So were these her words?
Yeah, she's the one who told the story. It was real popular.
You think they had sex?
I'm sure they did.
Isn't that something? What if you have sex and you got robbed?
Yeah, that's a twofer.
You lost twice. You lost your innocence and you lost your money.
I don't know about the innocent part.
Well, she probably is guilty as hell, but but still, he came twice.
Oh,
boo! He came twice
to the peanut gallery. Yeah, so I mean, they're using dating apps.
Yeah,
they're using high technology. They're using social media. They're attacking a lot of up and coming small businesses from social media because they may not have a lot of the resources. So they're acting like they're providing services to them and getting their information and defrauding them of money. Just a few helpful tips we want to share with people.
Yeah.
If for some reason that you have been scammed, unfortunately, you need to, if you've been paid with a debit or a credit card, you need to immediately connect with that bank and put a claim in and put a fraud claim in and let them know. You want to cancel that card,
Yes.
destroy
Cancel.
that card,
Burn it.
And make sure you're communicating consistently with the bank so that they can track it. And if a scammer made an authorized transfer from your bank account, you want to contact that bank, tell them to reverse it. It's an unauthorized debit or withdrawal, and then fill out any forms in order to reverse that and get refunded your money.
And if I may add, when you have a debit card, typically, I know it could be a bit of an inconvenience, but I think if I could give the best piece of advice, I think every 3 months, depending on, especially if it's a debit card, I think every 3 months, maybe every 6 months, I ain't gonna be that dramatic, but I think every 6 months you should change your debit card out. Because we do a lot of spending on our debit cards, and while you're out, you don't know who's gaining access to, especially if you're a person who shop in these local stores. And nothing to take nothing away from the hood and where we shop, but that's where a lot of our we getting scammed at in a lot of our communities. So I think change your access to your debit card. Change your PIN if you have to.
Yep.
Change your card. If every
Change
3
it.
to 6 months, get a new card, change the number. That way nobody could come behind you later and take what's rightfully yours that you worked so hard for.
Jim, I think you give a really good, because I'm looking at the FTC's, the Federal Trade Commission's website, and one of the things they say about securing your personal information is create strong passwords, right? Stop using your birthday. Stop using your kids' birthdays.
I'm using 1, 2, 3. Jesus Christ.
They guess that.
Yeah.
Because these scammers, they not only know who you are, they know who your relatives are, they know your children's information. And so if they know you have a son named Jonathan or Trevor, they can get their birthday and they can use that combination to try to figure out your password. So be real creative. Use special characters, use upper, lower case, make it as difficult as possible for people to not be able to guess your password.
Absolutely.
And please make sure all of your passwords are different. I know it seems like we suffer from a little bit of password fatigue, but in the end, it really protects your assets.
Absolutely.
You don't want anyone to be able to guess your password because you're using your birthday or you're using the day that you got married. Remember, a lot of this stuff is very public information. And so if they know you got married on April 23rd, 2014, they can play with those numbers 2 or 3 times and they'll already have your password. You can always go to the FTC's website. It's consumer.ftc.gov. Go there. There's a whole list of information to help you protect your personal information. Also, you can use identitytheft.gov. And they have a whole list of steps that you can follow if for some reason your information, especially your social security number, has been compromised. You can go there and find out what you need to do. You can also put things on your credit report to make sure that they know if there's been a ton of purchases that are happening that you are unauthorized. That way they can put that on there so other companies know that unfortunately your identity has been stolen. And if you find out that a scammer has access to your computer or phone, you need to update your security software right away.
Right away.
Yep. And then they also have cases where they can log into your phone if you don't have strong passwords on your phone. If that's happening, please go to your phone company. Also report it to the local police.
Well,
and
now,
go back to your service provider.
If you have Apple with iPhone, now is they have facial recognition. So none of us look alike. So I mean, so that's the beauty of that. So you never have to worry about nobody getting into your phone because you have that facial recognition. Let me chime in real quick. If you think about over the last few years, what would be, if you could give me 2, one being the best and one being the worst, what was the best scam act and what was the worst scam act? If you can name 2, I have 2 in mind.
Scam.
And it could be anybody, celebrity, local person, things you seen on the news. What was the best scam? And then what was the worst scam? If you could think of 2.
Well, I think people using this Bitcoin to as a way to shield identity is a really good scam.
Yeah.
But I can tell you the worst scam that I know of, it's maybe not people taking your identity, but it was with Enron when they took all of those employees' retirement savings and those people were defrauded from their money, and it was done by the executives. I consider that to be a scam because it was done fraudulently. And I think the magnitude of it was so vast and so great. That's why I would consider it one of the worst, because those people had invested in the company, and for years they had been encouraging the employees to reinvest their own money in the company as a way to make the company more profitable, and then they ran off with the people's money. I think that was terrible.
Okay, I can agree to disagree with that. Now, and I'll say why. Even it is the worst, but I would say, okay, the best scam in relation to what you just said was Bernie Madoff.
Oh, yeah.
That was the best scam. It wasn't
Bernie
good.
Madoff.
The worst scam was Jesse Smollett.
Ah!
That was the worst scam. So if you look at it that way,
you always going left, bro.
That's the worst. That's the worst scam. That's the worst.
Jesse going to court.
I mean, where was his empire? Where was Lucius? What's the mother name? What's Taraji name on the show? Cookie.
Yo, Jam always going left. Yo, this dude, man. But we over here trying to be intentional with our information. So please utilize the resources that are out there to keep your assets safe, to keep your family safe, and also keep your children's information. So again, you can look on the Federal Trade Commission's website. That is consumer.ftc.gov. There's a whole section of their website dedicated to how to keep yourself safe. And God forbid, if something has happened, what should you do? Who should you contact? Because what's happening is geographically, there are different scams.
Absolutely.
So there are scams that are happening up north that are not happening on the West Coast, and vice versa. So to stay abreast of that, check the FTC's website under Explore Data. And if you click on your state, they will tell you the type of scams that are happening. Because there are things that happen in Florida because it's a big retirement community.
Yes, absolutely.
And they're dealing with an aging population. The seniors, they are tapping into them at a huge rate. Huge rate. So we want to keep our elderly population safe. So please don't forget to have some of these conversations at the dinner table. We know the holidays have just passed, and people have been spending time together. This needs to be common conversation. Don't keep it close to the vest, because if you don't share it with your family members, you can't help, and your friends, you can't help keep them safe. So please, if there's information that you want to share with us, you can definitely send it in to us. Where do they send it at, Jam?
At goinvocal@gmail.com. That's GOINVOCAL@gmail.com.
That Catholic school education.
Listen. You know what time it is. And I just want to, listen, people. Be mindful of your personal information. Watch your surroundings. Watch where and how you spend, and who you give your business to.
Yeah, be careful. You got to protect this information. We know how hard our listeners out there are working, and we want to make sure that as we get information, we are then in turn communicating that to you to empower you, to keep you safe. So please don't take this lightly. We don't want to promote any fear, but this is a very, very popular growing trend.
Absolutely.
A lot of people, unfortunately, are going and moving and shifting out of selling drugs, stealing, robbing, and now moving into this scam.
Absolutely.
It's the new generation. It's a new generation.
Absolutely.
They're getting rich off of this. You talk about millions and millions of dollars. Some of these Nigerian scammers are making big money. They're making they're making videos about it with all this enormous amounts of money. And this is coming from people who have been working. So we don't want to have that happen to us, and we damn sure don't want it to happen to any of our listeners. So please, if you have any information to contribute to this particular topic, we can definitely resurrect it. If it has happened to you, we'd love to hear your story. If you wish to say anonymous, we'll respect your privacy. But we would love anything that you can share that can keep our greater community safe. We want to hear it.
And also, too, let me add to that. And don't take this the wrong way. We're not just pointing out Nigeria. We're not saying that because you have the Ukraine, Russia. This is Germany, going on. This is a global thing.
It's global.
But we just talking about scams. So it doesn't matter who does it. Everybody's being scammed. Everybody's scamming.
Yeah.
So just be mindful of your surroundings and the people you let involved into your personal space. But it's time for somebody to get their shit together.
Get your shit together.
Get your shit together.
People, you gotta get your shit together. What are you doing out here?
Set it off, baby girl. Set it off. It's gonna be all right.
So recently on the Going Vocal Pod Squad with our boy Lou Ben, we talked about the Ahmaud Arbery case. And we gave our thoughts. We got some feedback from some of our listeners. But my get your shit together goes to a Georgia police officer who was caught making racist remarks about the Ahmaud Arbery case. He laughed and he said, yeah, they gave the defendants the death penalty, but Ahmaud got the ultimate death penalty. I think that is the most insensitive thing he could have said. I mean, the wounds are still fresh for the Arbery family. The Goin Vocal podcast has expressed their condolences and our strong feelings about and supporting the sentencing that the defendants, the McMichaels, received. But for a Georgia police officer, someone who is tasked with upholding the law and protecting citizens, to have such disparaging and concerning remarks is why we need to make sure social justice continues in the United States and that we have open and transparent conversations. We do not need people who are racist behind the badge. It is very, very dangerous. So my get your shit together goes to that Georgia police officer. I hope your ass gets fired. I hope you lose your job. I hope you lose your home. I hope you can't pay for your kids to go to school. I hope your wife leaves you and finds someone much better. You're an idiot and you need to get your shit together.
Get your shit together, homie.
You need to get your shit together, homie.
My get your shit together.
It better not be about me. It better not be about me.
My get your shit together goes out to the young lady, and I don't want to misquote the rapper, but the young lady, I believe she was having sex with Drake.
Oh, wow.
Young lady, Drake is some chick up in the hotel. They get the smashing before he dashing, and Drake, you know he not from the hood. According to the story, and again, I wasn't in the room, but according to the story, Drake takes the condom off, throws it in the toilet. However, Drake doesn't flush the toilet. So old girl circles back and goes in the toilet, takes the condom out the toilet, and tries to insert it in her vaginal area to try to get pregnant by a drizzy. Now,
Champagne popping.
Smash 101 teaches us, if you don't want to get nobody pregnant, you flush that shit. You watch it go down. You even look at the plumbing. I used to look at the back of the toilet to make sure it went down. I stand there for a few more minutes and make sure it don't come back up.
And you think you know a person.
So, that young lady, get your shit together. Get your shit together.
Crazy.
Looking for a come up.
Savage.
My goodness.
Yeah, that's a very, very sad story. But unfortunately, the reality is it's probably a very common thing with these young...
That's scam artists. That's a scam. That's a scam artist.
Looking to get a quick come up. But listen, people, be safe. Stay close. Tell somebody you love them today. And if you don't do anything else, you better go vocal.
Keep going vocal. No matter what. Peace.
We out, kids.
We out.